17 minutes past 11 a.m. And I would like for us to get straight into what we're talking about today. I have amazing guests. I will let them introduce themselves. But first, this is what we are going to be talking about.
One of the worst things you could do is give your children a phone. Worst thing. Yeah, I know. You're feeling guilty now. Don't feel guilty because you just heard it from me. One of the worst things you could do is give your young child between 1 and 5 a phone. Why do I say that? Because the brain is developing, and it develops the most between 1 and 5. It doesn't end until like 20-something years old. That's why you think, well, like, they're older and why they acting like they lost their mind. It's because their brain hasn't fully developed. But 1 through 5 is developing, Erickson's law, trust versus mistrust, all these things, all these neurons, right? When you give them the phone, they're like this. And the way the phone works, because it's usually like a game or something that you think they're learning the ABCs, so you're feeling not guilty because, at least they're learning the ABCs. Yeah, no. The phone and those video games or whatever's on there moves like this. If you watch it, everything moves fast. It's like a song is fast, this is fast, it goes to something else, it goes to something else. That is wiring their brain. So now their brain is like this. Right? They're fast, everything's fast. So when we're slow and now we're in the grocery store and we gotta wait in line, I don't wanna wait because my brain is going fast. You programmed it. You gave them the phone.
See, that is the biggest problem that we get. I don't want to even talk. I'm going to allow my guest Lily to introduce. I ordered for what? These things were like it's a Thursday. You order one pizza and then get two. Today is like one of my lucky days. So I'm going to allow Lily to introduce the other guest I have and introduce herself.
Hi, thank you, Joy.
Yeah.
Joy, love Joy.
Yeah.
My name is Lily, and I'm here with my husband, Kagenza. We're so glad to be here.
Yeah. You're passionate people when it comes to parenting. I'm told you are completing your master's when it comes to family, and all of that. Just tell us. And you even have a children's, what do we call it, baby's home?
Yes. First of all, I'm just beginning my marriage and family therapy degree. I have a preschool, but we call it an early childhood development center. Butterfly, it's in Chiwagawaga. Yes. We're passionate about kids, parenting, family. Yeah.
So this is one of the reasons why I'm feeling like so excited, because I get the right people to have the right conversation. Screen time, Mr. Kagenza, is what we are talking about today. I mean, personally, I've seen a few kids, when you take that phone away, they don't know what else to do. Maybe we start with the dangers.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the name is Kagenza. Very happy to be here. I would say this has been an evolving field because the study of technology is still an evolving discipline in certain ways. So my wife is going to share the details, but when you see the studies that are being done on children, between especially the ages of 1 to 5, as the blurb or the introduction mentioned, you get to see that the child's brains, children who are exposed to screens early, and let me say, screens means phones, laptops, educational tablets, TVs, all of those things. None of them is better than the other.
True.
And you can see that it is limiting them, especially in the areas of language development. And so in our early childhood center, we see this firsthand. We see children who come, parents get to be very concerned that maybe they are delayed with certain aspects of their development. When you prod a bit more, you discover, I think maybe 8 out of 10 times, the issue is overexposure to the screens.
Wow.
But I'll let my wife give more of the science.
He mentioned the part of the educational materials, because lately, especially post-COVID, even the academics and stuff. So as a parent, you tell yourself, they are learning ABC, and you justify your giving them that screen time.
I see where the parents are coming from, because I'm a parent. It's difficult to have kids at home and not be overwhelmed once in a while and say, you know what, I'm just going to give them the screen, or even just figure out because another kid is already doing their ABCs and because they're on screen, then it's a good idea. But the truth of the matter is that children learn through 3D dimension, and through interactions, and TVs and screens and phones are one dimension. So they just talk to you. But children need to read lips, they need to look at your expressions, they engage, they get engaged fully with a human being. So then that's the problem with screens, because ultimately what the screen does is that it lowers their focus and their concentration spans, because everything is moving so fast. Their colors, they're turning colors and everything. So when they sit and they have to focus on a teacher, they can't do it because the teacher is not as engaging or as entertaining as the screens. So you find that kids who tech users, they usually find it's hard for them to sit in class. You know, my husband was talking about delayed speech. One of my close friends, Yvette de Graaf, she's also a business partner. She's very passionate about speech therapy and delayed speech. So I learn a lot from her, and basically there's science out here that talks about screens, whether it's educational, whether they're learning ABCs, there's neurons in the brains that are not working. They're not lighting up, they're not growing, their brain is not growing because they're not interactive, because the screens are not. So then at the end of the day, the kid is learning their ABCs, but it's killing their creativity.
At the expense of so much more. Exactly. Now we want to get straight into the solutions. What can we do? But off air, Lily, you said something that was quite interesting for me. Please get back to it, the autism part.
Joy Love, I was just explaining that there's something called virtual autism for children. What that looks like is children have autistic, so let's say an autistic child does not make eye contact, does not, is nonverbal, and that what that means is that they're not talking up to the age of 4, or they don't listen to instructions. Maybe tell them come here and they walk away. Basically you can see there's no there's no connection. Yes, there's a list of things that autistic kids have. So virtual autism is kids having those symptoms, but they're not autistic because they've had excessive screen time at a young age. So basically, as Rwandans or as Africans, sometimes we struggle with, you're busy at work, your nanny maybe is not engaging the child, you give them screen time, and you find kids have developed these symptoms, but they truly are not autistic.
And so obviously, because because they are exhibiting them, you need to seek for medical attention, which is money.
Yes.
Wasted money.
Yes.
Which is not, well, anyway, so let's now move to what are the solutions? What do we do?
Yeah, one thing I like to say, first of all, technology is here to stay. We're not going to reverse the trend.
Sure.
And we live in a country where technological adaptation is core to where we're heading as a country. But I'd like to say, as a family, you need to take control of your parenting. One of the things we did as a couple, we developed a family vision, a 20-year life plan.
In
2014.
Beautiful.
And so it sounds complicated, but the point is, it's like a vision for your family. What type of family do you want to become?
Wow.
Start with the vision and then work backwards. We want, for example, children who, if visitors come, our son is 5, our daughter is 8, we want to be able to invite our children to come sit with us in the sitting room and sit still for an extended time without complaining, without grabbing for a phone, without fussing.
Without jumping on the guest.
Without jumping on the guest. So you want your home to be a place where visitors are happy to come, or you can leave your children with nannies or with an auntie, and you're confident they'll behave well. So we have some tips maybe we'll go through appropriately. Do I go into some of them?
Yeah, I mean, if they're the solutions.
Yes, the solutions. Yeah, I mean, for example, the training, there are levels, we like to call them. Let me talk about 3 areas of cooperation. When your child is not on a screen, what should you be doing? 1, for the younger kids, you need to be training them how to eat. Number 2, how to change clothes. And number 3, how to bathe. These are the 3 important areas of cooperation. Why they're called areas of cooperation? They tend to be very stressful moments in a family life. Time to feed your child is hectic. you know. So it takes time to train your child how to eat by themselves. That's what you should be doing, instead of leaving them with a screen as they eat, because there are some families where your child is not going to eat if they don't have a screen.
Yes, you want to distract them, so you put screens as you put food.
You are disabling your child.
Oh dear.
The intention is to develop skills, life skills into your children so that they can be independent. And so that's one. Number two, changing clothes. You know, when it's time to go to bed or to go to school or to change clothes, you know, a child takes a while to learn how to put on their trousers, their panties, whatever. That is a process you do. And so one thing we do as a family, we do training weekends, and we'll do a simulation. I'll act as if I'm my son, and my wife will send me to do something.
Aww.
We demonstrate it, and then the child will learn that way.
That's beautiful.
Parenting is about training. It's not about giving orders and commands.
True.
You show repeatedly, then you also have to discipline for the lack of living up to those standards.
Yes.
When you do that well, and the last one, I know my wife is big on this, love and affection.
True.
The gateway to a child's heart to be able to discipline them is love and affection. A home where there's deep love, there's consistent affection, you're able now to coach and to discipline your children.
See, you know, they usually say that these kids learn more by seeing than hearing. Like whatever you're saying is easily coming through one ear through another. But what they see, they will literally pick it up. In just a few minutes, what more can a parent do if they're taking away the screen time?
Okay. First of all, let's just talk to the parents. Guys, we understand.
Absolutely.
We know what it feels like to have a kid who does not want to eat. And it's just like, I have done it. I have been there where I'm like, you know what? It's okay. Today's the day where I'm just going to give you the screen and you eat, right? So when we don't want to sit here and say, we are experts, we have not done this. No. We have been there. We know what it feels like. We know how it is overwhelming for the parent when they see the kid is not eating day in, day out, or, But when we look at the disadvantages of screen time, then we have to, make a decision. So what are the strategies that we have used as a family when we limited it? What else can they do? So what we did is that we got a nanny who could read Kinyarwanda.
Oh.
That helps because we want them to be able to speak the language and also to speak English. So what we did is introduce library time. The Kachi library has Kinyarwanda books. So then if you don't have time as a parent, maybe you're rushing to work and it's a holiday, so you just drop your nanny and the child at the library so they can go and read Kinyarwanda books. So that's one of the strategies we've used, or even plan play dates with other kids, or
functional toys at home, blocks, puzzles, and have more of those in the house. Many books in the house, coloring books, because children will reach out for what they see readily available. If you have a screen that's the size of your wall in the living room, even I am tempted when I come home, By the way, we forgot to say, for most of our years as a married couple, we chose not to own a television.
That's very nice.
And so that's an easy way. You can have a laptop
of avoiding,
to use.
yes.
Exactly. So the child does not know.
So I must go, but we must get off. We have talked so much about indoors. People don't have games to play outside anymore. I don't know, when we were growing up, we had Kwepe hour, or just, I don't know, skipping rope, blah, blah, blah. Like
Mabijibiji is what we had in Rwanda.
What is that?
Mabijibiji.
It's a game,
it's
like
a
a
game.
dance
It's like a
kind of
jumping game.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that is huge.
Yeah.
We are big on playing outside. Big on, and that goes to the choice of the schools you pick for your child, the ECDs, even the home that you're going to rent or whatever. We are big on telling the nanny the child will spend 80% of the time outside. Our kids are outside like most of the day. By the time they're coming home, you give them a screen, they'll doze off in
tired.
like 5 minutes.
That's sweet. I mean, you will hear some parents going like, it's too hot outside. It's too cold. My baby is going to, geez. Well, I know.
Actually, sorry, I know you have to go. But one of the advantages of being outside, it develops what they call the gross motor skills of a child, which is basically connected to the brain. If a child can jump, run, and is athletic, it actually helps them when they start school. It helps them be able to, for creativity, for writing, for all these things. They're more developed when they're when they spend time playing outside. So there's a connection to the brain when the kids play. So the more time they spend outside, the smarter they become, if that's even a thing.
12 minutes to the top of the hour. You are listening to The Bridge. I have guests. We are talking about parenting, screen time to be specific. So I have a message from Wera. She was saying that story time sessions have been a game changer for her family. She says that they are a bonding time, but also they enhance language skills. And then she said that sometimes they come up with their own stories. Like they allow the kids to kind of like come up with the stories, not just going to the books and you're reading these already put out there books. What do you have to say about that as your parting shots?
Well, so reading is such an important thing to do with your kids. If you read, there's a research that was done that if you read between 15 minutes to 30 minutes daily with your kid, the IQ grows to 6%.
Wow.
So Kagenza was saying every parent wants their kids to be smart, to to excel. I think that's the whole point of having kids. You always want them to excel. So
yeah, that is true.
That's great. Yep.
And you were talking about the fathers and their time with the kids.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, for me, I would say the role of fathers in the development of a child is indispensable. And so I know one study in Kenya that found, I think, fathers on average in urban families spend, 16 to 19 minutes a day with their children.
Wow.
And if you think about that, with the hours we have per day, that's negligible, right?
True.
So my encouragement is for fathers to step in, do some reading. One practical advice: when you're going to the garage, you're going to the bank, you're going to do chores that seem boring, that's an adventure for your children.
Yes.
Put them in the car. As they're driving, they're not on screens, they're looking at nature. When they go to the bank, they're learning how to greet people, they're learning different things, and so that's such an amazing and easy way to train your children.
Yeah, actually, I have a friend of mine who goes, when it is to do the hair, like salon time, he goes with a son. Like that one is our time.
Absolutely.
Sometimes he kind of is caught up a little bit and then he goes straight without coming home. It will be a problem because that's our time. Daddy, you fixed your hair without me.
Yes.
How?
Yes.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Mr. and Mrs. Kagenza. I am hoping that we'll do this again. I have learned a lot, and I'm hoping that parents out there have learned. What is the role of us? I like to call myself an auntie with sweets. Aunties, like I'm not a parent, but then I'm around kids. Yeah.
I for my for you aunties with sweets, please listen, don't bring sweets. Bring books.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, bring books. Bring interactive toys.
Right.
Blogs, puzzles. Puzzles are great for kids, especially I've seen like puzzles of Africa, so kids are learning, where the different countries are going. So of course you have puzzles like Peppa Pig or Paw Patrol. Those puzzles are so good because kids then really want to play with them. But as you advance, you can get them more complex puzzles or puzzles that will actually teach them something.
God, you have this Peppa Pig thing. It brought a problem in the US at some point. So kids are in the US and Peppa Pig obviously is talking British English. And so the kids are coming to, Mommy, I want telly. And the mom is like, what? Because for them, they're supposed to say, Mommy, I'd like to watch, what do they call it? They call it TV. And then the mom is like, telly? What should it became such a problem. So that's another thing that I do not like about screen times. The cultures. These people's culture is completely different.
Absolutely.
And ours isn't. So a kid is growing up and they think what is okay is okay locally, and it isn't. It's alien to us, So it is important that we get involved in our kids. Well, thank you so much from us, The Bridge, for now in this Sisterhood Circle. It's a goodbye. Stick around. Don't touch that dial.